They're born into networks, not just wealth. Money alone doesn't open the highest doors. Bloodlines do. Connections whispered across private dinners and silent boardrooms move mountains faster than resumes ever could. Opportunity flows through inheritance of reputation, influence, and silent handshakes you never even see. While you're sending applications into the void, they're getting invited to private tables where futures are decided. They get taught how money works, while you're taught how to work for money. You're taught that hard work pays off. They're taught that smart ownership pays infinitely more. Schools teach you how to be a good worker. Wealthy families teach their children how to become owners of the workers, how assets, equity, and leverage replace sweat. While you grind, they multiplied. They leverage debt as a weapon, while you drown in it. You're taught that debt is a trap, and for you, it is. For them, it's a weapon. They use debt to buy businesses, build real estate empires, fund ventures, all while protecting their cash flow and lowering their taxes. Rich debt builds power. Poor debt builds prisons you decorate with paychecks and false security. They control information before it becomes public. By the time breaking news reaches you, they've already moved their money. Access beats intelligence every time. Insider conversations, early access to deals, private tips. They don't need to predict the market when they're steering it. You gamble in public arenas, they win in private rooms. They pay less taxes legally than the working class. The laws aren't broken, they're operating exactly as designed. Those who wrote the system made sure ownership, investment, and trust funds are rewarded, while wage labor gets taxed at the highest rates. You fund the roads and systems they glide across. You're trapped by a code they slip through effortlessly. They own assets that print money while they sleep. Your income stops when you stop working. Their income snowballs while they vacation, sleep, and golf. Rental properties, stocks, businesses, royalties. Assets don't ask for sick days or holidays. Ownership creates unstoppable momentum. Labor creates exhaustion. They insulate themselves from risk, then sell you the illusion of hard work. You're gambling with your job, your savings, your time. One misstep from disaster. They insulate themselves with multiple income streams, layered investments, and golden parachutes. Yet they still sell you stories of hard work as the path to freedom, hiding the real machinery of safety they built long before the first paycheck. They use lawyers, loopholes, and lobbyists to rewrite the rules. When the rules don't favor them, they rewrite the rules. Tax loopholes, favorable regulations, silent deregulation efforts, all bought and paid for by the elite. You follow the law, they commission the next edition of it. If you can't win the game fairly, you're stuck. They just change the game. They teach their children to think like kings, not cogs. You're taught to seek permission, apply, ask, obey. They teach their kids to command, create, own, dictate. Mindset isn't just important, it's everything. A child raised to think like a ruler will create opportunity even with nothing. A child raised to obey will spend a lifetime asking for scraps, even with talent. They invest early because they're told the secrets early. Compound interest, asset acquisition, tax deferment. They are taught these weapons before adulthood. You learn about them accidentally, often too late. They plant seeds in their teens that become financial forests by their 30s. You're still being told to just save money while inflation eats your efforts alive. They turn charity into publicity while growing stronger. Their donations aren't just kindness, they're investments. Donations to private foundations they control. Philanthropy that offers tax breaks, public image boosts, influence building. Charity becomes a sword and shield, protecting wealth, enhancing legacy, and opening new business doors disguised as generosity. They fear losing power more than losing money. Money can be rebuilt. Power, once lost, is far harder to reclaim. That's why the wealthy fight to protect influence even harder than cash. They know money is just a tool, a shadow cast by real power. Protect the power and the money floods back automatically. They profit from your fear, distraction, and division. Every outrage headline, every political fight, every celebrity scandal, they profit. Fear keeps you desperate. Division keeps you weak. Distraction keeps you exhausted. While you're fighting your neighbor over breadcrumbs, they're quietly buying the bakery, the farmland, and the water supply. They buy politicians like tools, while you vote hoping for change. Your vote is a hope. Their donation is an instruction. Politicians are tools, not leaders, once the check's clear. While you beg for reforms and fairness, they're buying influence wholesale. Democracy looks real until you follow the money trail and realize the elections were decided long before voting day. They invest in scarcity, then sell you solutions. They buy up farmland, water rights, critical minerals, real estate. Then they sell the necessities back to you at inflated prices. They engineer scarcity, manufacture crises, and monetize your desperation. Where you see disaster, they see a revenue model. They stay invisible while pushing narratives that divide. The ultra-wealthy are rarely the faces you argue about. They hide behind brands, corporations, foundations. Meanwhile, you argue over politicians, celebrities, CEOs, all chess pieces. The real kings and queens stay hidden, quietly feeding the fires that keep you distracted and blind. They move capital across borders while you fight over flags. National pride, borders, nationalism. They sell you those emotions while moving their wealth through offshore accounts, multinational investments, and shell companies. Loyalty is for the poor. The rich are global citizens who only pledge allegiance to profit. They design systems where failure is paid and success is bought. Banks get bailouts, corporations get incentives. When they fail, taxpayers pay. When they succeed, they keep every penny. Heads they win, tails you lose. Risk is privatized when it benefits them, socialized when it threatens them. They create financial instruments you don't even know exist. Options, derivatives, private equity, hedge funds, synthetic assets, entire playgrounds of wealth creation you'll never even be invited into. While you're stuck with checking accounts and 401ks, they're playing chess on multi-dimensional financial boards where the real fortunes are made. They sell you dreams, then fence off the access points. They tell you to work hard, dream big, hustle harder, but when you approach the gates, they raise the barriers. Licensing, permits, lobbying, closed networks, capital requirements. They sell you dreams like candy, then guard the factories where dreams are made. They inflate markets, then cash out while you crash. They hype stocks, real estate, crypto, whatever vehicle they've already loaded into. You, the public, rush in late, buying at peaks while they quietly exit. When the crash comes, you lose everything. They buy it all back pennies on the dollar, and the cycle repeats. They know media is the most valuable real estate. They don't just own land, businesses, and stocks, they own narratives, news outlets, production companies, social media platforms. If you control what people see and believe, you control how they think, act, vote, and spend. Reality itself becomes another asset in their portfolio. They manipulate culture to cement their advantages. Wealth isn't just about numbers, it's about belief systems. They influence movies, ads, books, schools, embedding the idea that the system is fair, that wealth is only about hard work, that the poor deserve to stay poor. By owning culture, they make their supremacy seem natural and unchangeable. They train you to accept normal that benefits them. It's normal to work 40 years, normal to pay 30-year mortgages, normal to drown in debt for education, normal to retire broke. They design the definition of normal to keep you trapped in systems that feed them endlessly. Escaping requires seeing that normal was a cage, not a choice. They kill competition early, or buy it silently. When true competition emerges, they don't fight fair. They bury it in lawsuits, drown it in regulation, or quietly acquire it before it becomes a threat. By the time you realize what happened, the disruptive force has been declawed or absorbed into the empire. They disguise predatory behavior as innovation. New app, new platform, new sharing economy model. Often it's just repackaged exploitation dressed up as progress. Workers rebranded as contractors without benefits. Customers locked into ecosystems they can't leave. Innovation is often just new ways to extract more value while giving back less.